Well, hello, Stampers. It's the Pampered Stamper, and it's Tuesday again. And that means it's time for the virtual coffee and a card class. And this month, the focus is on Peaceful Cabin. I love this stamp set so much. It's kind of crazy, but every single time I ink up that cabin and put ink to paper, I just smile. I'm just so happy. I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but when a stamp set makes you feel that way, it's a good thing. So let's take a look and see what we're going to make today. I'm going to switch it over to here. And here is my card. And the focus this today is on this die. So here is let me just grab this stamp set. And I just realized, you know what? I think I may have used all of my craft paper. And you're going to see the difference. I might have to use crumb cake today because I've used up all my craft paper by creating projects for my Christmas tutorial. So we'll see what a difference it makes with crumb cake. Sometimes you think that there's not a big difference between products, and then when you lay them side by side, you notice that there's actually quite a big difference. And that's a good thing because otherwise it would be silly to offer different products. So here is the Peaceful Cabin stamp set, and I'm going to show you the dies. So we're going to open this up. So we're going to use this outline die and this die here. And I also wanted to play around and show you I'll take them out now, the trees, and then there's this little detail one that fits in, and there's this one. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this stamp set out as well, and then we can start playing. So the card base is Old Olive, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's the simple part. Okay. Then I have cut a piece of this die cut, and I don't like to get the big shot out. I don't know why. I just have a thing about that. So I first cut this out with Very Vanilla. Okay, so you just cut it like that. You run it through the die cutting machine lengthwise, and then pretend that this is the black one. Then you lay this die on here and you run it through again, and then that gives you this look. But rather than just putting this on, I thought it was a good idea to put the vanilla in behind, and it just looks like the cabin is lit up. You know when you drive by a house at night in the wintertime and it looks so cozy, that light is so inviting. So the way we're going to put those two together is we're going to flip this over and put it on the silicone mat, which is here. So now I just have to make sure I did flip it over. Yeah, I did. It's flipped over. So then we're going to take, my screen keeps, there we go. We're going to take some liquid adhesive, just clean the tip off. Mine's getting pretty used up, so then you have to give it a little shake to get the glue to the bottom. You can also store it upside down. This one is an oldie but a goodie. I need to get a new one. You know what? I'm going to fix this for a second. I'm just going to pause this. Okay, so you can see that I've had some success. So I squeeze out a little bit of a puddle. At home, I have a little container that holds this thing upside down. It's absolutely wonderful. And now I have this tiny little sponge remnant. You just flatten out your puddle like this, and then you dab it on your die cut. Now I could have used regular adhesive on the bottom here, but since I'm using this sponge anyway, I'll just use up my glue. I could add a little bit more on the bottom, but there. So here we go. And we're going to lay that, move that out of the way, and lay it over like so. And the nice thing about using a liquid adhesive is that you can slide it around until you have it the way you want. And I see that one of my window panes didn't come out, so I'm going to get that out of there. I'm a little bit OCD about that. Some people leave them in on purpose. I really like to take them out. Okay, so the next thing we have is we have a piece of this pretty paper with the trees in silver, and there's silver stars. This one is, the black piece is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. But before we put it on our black piece, we're going to use one of these blending brushes. And we're first going to do some balmy blue on the sky. And we'll deal with those dyes later, don't you worry. I'm planning to do something with those. Move those out of the way. So you just dab on here. The thing to remember with your blending brushes is always start off your page. So just go like this, little circular motions, and that way you don't get blobs of color. You don't want blobs. You want a nice, even color. And sometimes it looks like you don't have a lot going on, and there's usually more than what you think. So I really don't want to go over the trees, but I am getting in between a little bit. There. I think that's enough. You could go in and make it even darker along the edges with the darker blue. I think that would look really nice too. But I think this is good for now. So now we're going to take the old olive, and I'm actually going to take the same brush. The brush allows you to change colors. I mean, you don't want to go. I hope that, I think I missed something. I hope that, I see that I'm only at 6 minutes, so I don't know if you guys saw me doing this or not. Sometimes when I pause, then I hit the wrong button or something. So now I'm not sure what is missing in my presentation. But anyway, I used these dies to cut the trees. I'm just going to repeat this in case it wasn't in there. So you can cut them like this, and then you can lay these on, and then you'll get this. See? So that's pretty cool. So you can leave your trees solid, you can leave them with a detailed cut, and then there's one other thing that you can do, and I think this is pretty cool. So there's also a stamp. And we're just going to lay that on my block. I'm just going to ink it up on a piece of scrap white. Or maybe we'll just do it on the inside of the card. This is going to be the inside of the card. We'll do it. No, you know what? I'm going to do it right on here because I want to do something else with the inside of the card. See? So you can stamp your trees. You can also cut them out. So you can make all kinds of layers. It's really a fantastic set. So happy about that. And now we're going to take the scissors and cut off these gray trees. And I'm just going to cut a little bit of a tab underneath of it so that I have something to glue down if I need to. So let's get the card out. We have the trees, and then we have this. And I can make the cabin go a little bit lower. I don't want to cover up my trees too much. So I'm going to trim off a little bit. I'm just eyeing to see where I have my paper trimmer. And it wasn't too far away. So we're going to cut off a little bit like that, maybe ½ an inch. There. And now I won't be covering up so much of my pretty silver trees. Okay. So I think it's a good idea to put the trees on first. So I just want to lay them on to see. I don't want to cover up too many of the other trees either. So I kind of like it like that. And I also like it that the trees aren't totally flat on. So I'm only going to add adhesive on the bottom here. Oops. There. And it's going to go about so. There. Yeah, I like that. Okay, perfect. Add some adhesive to the bottom of the cabin. And here we go. There. That looks really awesome. Now we can put it on our card base, and then we're going to stamp the inside of the card. It's really a simple card, but I think it's just really effective. I think it'd be great to give as a set of cards to somebody. Sometimes as card makers, we really make a lot of cards, and we forget how special they are and that they would make a really good Christmas present. So I suggest, now I notice that there's a tiny bit of vanilla sticking out here. I'll just take my black blend later and cover that up because I don't like it. So before I do the sentiment, I'm going to do the inside. And we're going to stamp the cabin first. No, I took, oh yeah, here it is. So I'm going to stamp the cabin in early espresso. I love creating a scene for the inside of my cards because this stamp, I always have to find an excuse to use this stamp. Here. So it's going to go right at the bottom. There. And then I have stamped it on a sticky note and then I cut it out. So I'm going to mask my cabin and then my trees. Here are the trees in Old Olive. I'm hoping that my COVID test is a gentle one this afternoon. There. And then I'm going to just stamp it again here because I don't like that empty space there. And then look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then if I want another tree on the other side, I'm going to do that too. There. Oh, it's in brown. Oh, crap. Okay, well, I didn't want that. We're going to do it. Their tree died. Well, there. That's not so bad. That's a black spruce. How about that? Okay, so I'm going to pause it for a minute, and I'm going to see if I can find some of this craft paper, because it bothers me that I don't have it handy. Okay, good. We're good. I found a little scrap. And guys, when you're playing with a little scrap, I'm going to show you a little trick. So you can take your Stamparatus, and at home I have repositionable adhesive, but I'm just going to use a tiny little bit of this Stamp and Seal Plus, just in the middle. And I'm going to put it right here, like so. And then I'm going to lay this on here, and we'll see if it's straight. Then I always check, and it looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to, I'll just put that on there just in case. We're going to stamp with early espresso. Now my early espresso is getting pretty dry, and I don't think I have a refill here. So that's why when the Stamparatus is really good, because you can give it a few layers of ink without messing up. There's no way you could do this without a Stamparatus, unless you have the old tool. Remember the Stamp-A-Majig? That was a pretty fantastic tool, but it was a little tricky to figure out how to use. Okay, so here we have it. Now you can use your, see, it'll just peel off. There we go. You can use your Stampin' Trimmer, and I'm just gonna rub this off if I can. Yeah, that worked. So that's a great way to get rid of your adhesive. Or you can use your scissors. Okay, so it's up to you what you do. I'm just looking for my card sample. Oh, here it is. I want to know how I did it. And maybe it is pretty straight. I think I'll use the trimmer. A few years ago, they had a special if you joined Stampin' Up! And you got this little cute, adorable trimmer. I love it. I still have it, and it's great for this kind of thing. So I'm just going to cut in between. So I want May You there. And then enjoy the piece. And so what I'm doing is I want to see blank in the trough here, in my cutting trough. If it's blank, then I'm good to go. And then I'll turn this around and trim it off. There. Okay. Now we're good to go. And we're going to make it pretty. So on this one, I want to make a little flag. So you just cut down the middle, and then from the corner to the middle. Yeah, I just checked my little clock to make sure I was actually recording. The pause button is awesome, but if you don't hit the button right and you think you're recording and you're not, well, that leads to troubles. So I do apologize if there's a gap in the middle. Now you know why. Okay, so we're just going to trim this off so that it's smaller. And I think I got the sample idea right out of the catalog for this card. Okay, so you definitely use your catalogs as idea books. All right, so here we go. This one is popped up. I thought I had some dimensionals here. I do. Getting better at keeping everything within reach. And the other ones are going to be on flat. So we're going to use just a tiny little bit of liquid adhesive. trick is to use just a little bit so it doesn't ooze. I'm learning to have a lighter hand. So I'm going to start with the bottom one so that there's enough space. There. And then this one. And then this tiny little guy. And it's just nice to do it like that. And oh, where did I put my inside? Ah, oh, you know what? I put it inside the other card. Isn't that funny? There's our finished one. Although that isn't true. I'm not telling the truth. I have no idea where my inside went. I'm wondering if it's stuck on the bottom. It is. Look, on the bottom of my Stamparatus. There we go. It's amazing what you can find on the bottom of your tools. So that's going to go in here. And we need a sentiment. So what does this one say? Your kindness makes the world a more beautiful place to be. But you know what? I'm going to leave mine empty because I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Sometimes I like to just write a letter on this part. So I'm going to leave it. And there. And I'm going to show you, oh, if it doesn't go, it means you just have to advance it a little bit. I'm going to show you the card that we're going to do next week and a couple other things. I made a really nice card with this for my primetime group. It's a private group I have on Facebook with, they get a video tutorial every week that is exclusive. So here are the cards for today. They look pretty well the same. The sponging is pretty identical. I didn't intentionally do that, but yeah, it's fun. This one is stamped more, I like it. I stamped this one in espresso, and this one is stamped in black. I like the espresso better, but what do you like better? The black or the espresso? It's amazing how little things can make a difference. This is just, I was just playing with this. I haven't made anything with it yet. These are just pieces that I had left over from another class. This is the card for next week. So we get to use the fence and we finally get to use the smoke for the cabin. So that'll be fun. And then this is a card that I made earlier in the week. And this one, I colored the one door red with the, oh, what are they called? Watercolor pencils. And that's an easel card that goes up like that. Isn't that great? I blogged about this, so you can see it in my blog post. But if you want to see the video tutorial, you can join Primetime. It's only $10 a month, and you get a tutorial every month that's worth $15. So honestly, it's a no-brainer. So message me if you want to know how. And in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today. It was wonderful to have you here. I've put up this end screen just so that to make it easy for you guys to find my blog, thepamperedstamper.com, my website if you want to shop with me. Now, mind you, if you want to shop with me online, on my YouTube videos, underneath there is a, see more thing, and there's a whole description and a product list that you can just click on, and then you can shop in my store. There's also a little red icon in the corner that you can click on if you want to subscribe. I should have said that at the beginning of the video, but I just didn't think of it. So I just want to thank you once again. Subscribers are up. I'm just really encouraged, and it means a lot to me. So have a super day. And yeah, the next time I do a live video, it will be live again, and it'll be coming to you from Canada. Okay, bye.